Want to stay up to date with what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis? How about a place where you can get all important links for the government ministries? What about facts on St. Kitts and Nevis? Search no more. HPD.info is a one-stop shop to find exactly what you're looking for and more. Our website also connects you to our social sites like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, and SoundCloud. Go ahead, visit www.sknis.info and start exploring.
Many times when we do crime prevention programs, it's usually targeted, at a suspect to reduce crimes. But we also do many youth programs to where we want to target kids who are at risk, and so that they don't actually get involved with the criminal justice process to begin with. And we think that that's certainly a good utilization of our resources, that if we can keep kids out of trouble.
The Teen and Police Service Academy, or T.A.P.S, is a program of the Houston Police Department in Texas in the United States. Its primary focus is to empower youth, enhance communities, and engage law enforcement.
Teaming up with the police, getting a better understanding of both of their realities that they operate in, along with a service component which will give back to the community, along with an academy component which will have a beginning and an ending, which will be a graduation, which will be a great accomplishment for our students.
Retired Assistant Chief at the Houston Police Department, Brian Lumpkin, co-founded the project, launched in the spring of 2012. It's designed to bridge the social distance between at-risk youth and the police. In Houston, the fourth largest city in the United States, this can be especially difficult.
What we did in the city of Houston was we actually went to the school where students that had been removed from their regular high school and have actually been sentenced to 30, 60 days at this alternative school. And we knew that these kids are already making some bad decisions, so we knew we were already going to be talking to the toughest population at the time.
In order to hone the message and fine-tune the methodologies, a number of partnerships were formed, the most important of which was a collaboration with the Department of Criminology at the University of Houston, Clear Lake. Professor Dr. Everett Penn is a co-founder and the current director of the T.A.P.S Academy.
I think it's extraordinary. In much of the research, we look for this union to take place, the understanding of the practitioner and the academic coming together for research purposes, best practices, so that we don't waste money. We do what is most appropriate because the research, the literature tells us that.
T.A.P.S has expanded to Galveston, also in Texas, as well as to Columbus, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, and Ponce, Puerto Rico. In April 2014, a presentation about T.A.P.S at the annual Caribbean Association of Commissioners of Police in Trinidad caught the attention of St. Kitts and Nevis' Commissioner, Selvin G. Walwyn.
It shows the leadership that you have here in your country to say, we are already doing things, but we want to do something even better that has the approval of the U.S. Department of Justice, the Houston Police Department, other police departments around the country, Ponce, Puerto Rico, internationally. That shows where you are, that your police department is moving forward.
I feel confident that it can work in St. Kitts because I believe we are at a crossroad where we are seeing a reduction in serious crime overall in the Federation, in particular murders. But what we saw developing a few years ago was a culture of gangs with teens in the school. And I believe other programs other than T.A.P.S have entered into the school broadly to reach out and to reduce crime. So I believe that T.A.P.S will have the impact because I believe at the crossroad where people are listening, people are fed up with the violence, and people are looking forward for things that are positive.
Just knowing the mission statement here, the commitment to community policing, the type of officers you have that are very community-oriented, some of the programs you already are successfully involved and you're dialed in to the education system and you have good relationships with the teachers, that's key.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Stafford Liebert explained how he sees T.A.P.S fitting in with the motto of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, which is making a difference in the community and law enforcement.
Well, excellent, because when we look at the at-risk youth, we are seeing that the community fits into it because the crime and incidents of disorder, violence that occur in the school impacts the community. Hence, I believe that parents, teachers, and other stakeholders have great interest in seeing a reduction in crime. And so I believe that they will be embraced by the community, I'm confident. And our presence at the school is noticeable. Right away I could think of Sandy Point High School, where we have an officer there very regularly. We also have Keon High School, where we have an officer regularly. But we must look at all the schools because we do embrace all high schools in the Federation. I mentioned those two because early and late last year we had a little bit of upheaval in those two schools, and that had impacted in the district. So therefore, that's why I say I believe the community, seeing the police officers going to the school, recognize that they will embrace us because it brings less violence to the community on the whole.
The positives of having an officer working alongside students is widely considered to be a game changer.
I think you have to understand their feeling about the police officers from the very beginning. If you have been told by parents, observations, that the force that has gun and badge is this negative, is the one that uses their power oppressively against you, you don't have liking or feeling for them. But a lot of that comes from misunderstanding or not understanding or not having the knowledge. Having this conversation we're having now allows us to be more informed. Just imagine after 10 weeks how much more informed we would be. The same thing happens in T.A.P.S. As we have curriculum, bullying, gangs, drugs, the students are encouraged to speak freely about those subjects. That police officer mentor is there to answer their questions and give them correct answers about how to make the right choices. They have a choice to go left or right. That police officer is there to say, this is what will happen if you go the wrong way. Here are the benefits of going this way, and then put in his or her story about where they may have come in life to allow that student to see, I can achieve some greatness even though I may have come from very tough circumstances.
We've been measuring this since 2011, and that really is something that most programs don't have. People feel like, oh, it's a good idea, let's do it. Well, this is a good idea that we're measuring, and to find out if it's not doing well, what do we need to make it work? So he has come up with an evaluation instrument that actually measures social distance, figuring out where are these teens going into the program, where are they halfway through, and where at the end. Dr. Penn said earlier, we have teens in Houston that actually say, I'd like to kill the police. I dislike them so much. Well, by the end of the T.A.P.S Academy, hopefully they've moved up that scale a little bit, where they feel a little better about the police department and a little better understanding about the officer's journey. But then again, the officers, too, have to use a lot of listening skills. Officers aren't used to that. They're used to talking, telling, instructing. In this program, they got to do a lot of listening, very little lecturing, a lot of listening.
That is so important right there because it's about public safety. These officers every day put their lives on the line. And if we are able to help that encounter, 2 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, where that police officer and that teen that dislikes the police, after going through T.A.P.S Academy says, I understand the job the police officer is doing, and therefore I will not escalate the situation when that police officer comes to me. Both can leave safely, alive, and well understanding each other's side there for the public safety of the nation, public safety of the environment, and each other.
Each officer must see the importance of community work, must see that the teens are an important part of our society. They must embrace the idea that prevention is far better than cure and trying to fight to detect. And their effort will go towards the preventative measures. And we need officers who will carry out that preventative measures, and that is reaching into the schools.
But the effort does not lie exclusively with the police or the teens.
Parents, teachers, coaches, anybody that's in your neighborhood that's a teen. Number one, take time and recognize them. These teens are crying out for attention. Give it to them, but give it to them in a positive way. Suicide rates for teens is way off the charts. There's no reason why teens should feel like they don't belong to a community or society. We as society need to wave to them when we're cops out there and we go by them. Everybody needs to step up. If you don't have any kids in school, go to the local games and cheer them on. Whatever it is, soccer, cricket, whatever you're playing, go cheer them. If it's debate team, go in there and cheer them. That's all these kids are looking for. A lot of people, once their kids are out of school, they don't go. But let's be a community. Let's let these kids know, hey, give them a smile. Yeah, they may dress crazy. Yeah, they may listen to crazy music, but so did we. Look past that. They're not going to be in this stage very long. So get involved.
Well, I believe that the public have shown their support for us, and I want to congratulate the police and persons in the public who have gone beyond, because it is seen when we look at the Crime Stoppers. But I want to reach to the public and say, continue to support the police, continue to support law enforcement in any form. Continue to ensure that our communities in Kitts and Nevis remain safe for all. Not for a few, but safe for all.
Want to stay up to date with what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis? How about a place where you can get all important links for the government ministries? What about facts on St. Kitts and Nevis? Search no more. HPD.info is a one-stop shop to find exactly what you're looking for and more. Our website also connects you to our social sites like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, and SoundCloud. Go ahead, visit www.sknis.info and start exploring.